Okay, so, imagine this for a sec. You're about to launch something big. Could be anything, really. A business, a product, even just I don't know, your personal brand, right?
Right.
You're pumped, you're ready, but you've also got to have a plan. You wouldn't go into battle without a battle map, right? And
That's
in the business world, that map, that's your go-to-market strategy. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're diving
oh,
into today.
okay. Sounds interesting.
But there's a twist. Get this, we're breaking down a go-to-market strategy for a company called Go-to-Market Maven. And guess what they do?
Let me guess. They make go-to-market strategies.
Bingo. Talk about meta, right? It's like strategy inception.
Seriously, it's like a mirror reflecting another mirror.
Yeah.
But okay, jokes aside, this is actually really cool because we get this behind-the-scenes look at not just how companies plan their big launch, but also how AI is changing the whole game of business strategy.
Exactly. So, okay, let's talk about this go-to-market Maven. Their big thing is they're offering, get this, a professional-grade GTM strategy in 48 hours.
48 hours.
48 hours. You need a strategy yesterday, they're on it. And they're really focused on startups, smaller businesses, even individual consultants who need to, get moving quickly.
Yeah, that speed, it really speaks to this big shift we're seeing.
Yeah.
Traditionally, if you wanted a really solid GTM strategy, you had to go to these huge consulting firms. It was big bucks, long wait times.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But Maven, they're using AI to kind of break down those barriers, making these sophisticated strategies way more accessible for the little guy. The big question is, can an algorithm really truly replace, that gut feeling a seasoned consultant brings? Well, this document, this just might have the answers.
Well, speaking of competition, because this market, let me tell you, it's tough out there. This perceptual map in our document, it shows Go-to-Market Maven going up against some heavy hitters. We're talking big names, Deloitte, Publicis, and then you've got the pure AI players, ChatGPT, of course.
Everyone's talking about ChatGPT.
Right, and let's not forget those established AI-powered platforms like Evidenza. So yeah, it's a crowded space, to say the least.
You need to stand out, that's for sure. And to survive, let alone thrive in a space like that,
Mm.
you need a really, really clear differentiation strategy.
Perhaps.
And it seems like Go-to-Market Maven, they're really banking on this whole AI expert fusion thing. So they're highlighting the speed and the affordability of AI, which obviously is huge, but then they're adding that layer of human expertise.
Yeah.
It's compelling, for sure, but the question is, can they really deliver on that promise?
Yeah, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Totally.
Well, let me tell you, they're not shying away from selling that dream. This document, it's like a gold mine of bold taglines, strong key messages, rocket-fueled strategies, Fortune 500 insights, startup price tag. They are going for it.
Oh, yeah. And see, that Fortune 500 Insight startup price tag, that's clever.
Yeah.
It instantly creates this sense of value, right? It taps into this aspiration of smaller businesses wanting that access to, those exclusive strategies. They're positioning themselves really well with that.
For sure. And it's not just the taglines, even their elevator pitches have this breathless, enthusiastic energy, almost like they're trying to inject you with pure entrepreneurial adrenaline or something.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It definitely grabs your attention. But will that super high energy approach resonate with more established companies? Or is it more for the startups, the entrepreneurs who are all about that move fast and break things kind of mentality? That's the question.
And that's such a good point because, who you target with that message, that's just as crucial as the message itself.
Totally.
And speaking of targets, Go-to-Market Maven, they've got their sights set on 6 very distinct buyer personas.
Which, by the way, such an important step that so many businesses just skip right over. If you don't know who you're talking to, how can you possibly speak their language? Address their pain points. You're just shooting in the dark and hoping for the best.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Seriously.
So, okay, who are these Maven masterminds trying to connect with? Well, you've got your classic tech startup founder, scrambling for funding.
Oh, I know that one well.
Right. Then you've got your small business owner just trying to stand out online. And get this, even a VC investor on the hunt for that next unicorn. They're really running the gamut here.
And that shows that they understand that a winning GTM strategy, it's not one size fits all. You have to tailor your message, your whole approach to each specific audience you're going after.
Okay, so they've got their targets, but how are they actually going to reach them? Because, having a target, that's one thing, but actually hitting it, that's a whole other story. So they've got the who, but how are they going to connect with them? What's the plan?
Well, they've got this multi-pronged strategy. And a big part of it, content marketing.
Content is king, right?
That's right. Think blog posts, white papers, even just case studies. Basically, they want to position themselves as the experts, the thought leaders in the GTM world.
It makes sense. People trust experts.
Exactly. And especially now, in the digital age, high-quality content, it's not just about sharing information, it's about building that trust and credibility with your audience. They're giving away those valuable insights, kind of like, hey, we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Totally. Like, give away the milk for free, they'll come back to buy the cookies.
Exactly. But they're not just like stopping there. They're also using social media, webinars, even influencer marketing. It's like a full-on, omni-channel approach.
Covering all the bases.
Right. But, and this is key, they're not just throwing things out there randomly hoping something sticks. They're using data, setting specific objectives and key results, OKRs. And to track their progress, they're using key performance indicators, KPIs.
Okay, so we just threw out a couple of acronyms there, but seriously, this is important stuff. It's the difference between saying, we want more customers, which, like, everyone wants, right?
Of course.
And saying, we want to increase sales of our playbook by, 30% this quarter. And to do that, we're going to focus on website conversions, social media engagement. It's that laser focus that really makes a difference.
It shows they've got a plan. They're serious about getting those results, and measurable results, too. Like their goal to cut customer acquisition costs by 20% within 6 months. That's ambitious.
It is. So how are they going to pull that off?
Well, they're looking at their website conversion rates, how much engagement they're getting on social media, but also, and this is a big one, their Net Promoter Score. That tells you how satisfied and loyal their customers are.
So they're not just going for those quick wins, they're in it for the long haul.
Right. Building a sustainable business, keeping those customers happy.
Because happy customers, they tell their friends. And word of mouth, that's gold.
It's like a free marketing team working for you 24/7.
Exactly. Going through all this, the different channel suggestions, the budget breakdowns, those OKRs and KPIs, it's a lot. I mean, there are so many moving parts to a successful GTM strategy. It can be overwhelming, especially if you're a solopreneur or a small team.
Oh, absolutely. It can feel like you're trying to drink from a fire hose.
And I think that's exactly why we're seeing more and more services like Go-to-Market Maven popping up. It's tough to stay on top of everything, especially in the AI world.
Which brings us back to that big question. Can AI really bridge that gap? Can it do what a human expert can do?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right. And, I mean, we've seen this whole AI-human hybrid approach throughout this document. What's your take on that? Is it legit, or is it just a bunch of hype? Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, there's no denying AI is getting crazy sophisticated. It can analyze huge amounts of data, like way more than we can handle.
Way more.
And it can spot patterns that we might miss. It can even generate content like ad copy, blog post outlines. It's pretty wild.
So are the robots taking over? Are marketers out of a job?
Not so fast. There's still things AI can't do, things that humans excel at, like that gut feeling, that creativity, being able to connect with your audience on an emotional level,
Yeah, like AI probably wouldn't be great at writing a tearjerker ad for a pet adoption agency.
Exactly. It's those higher level cognitive functions that are still really important. That strategic thinking, understanding those nuanced customer emotions, and being able to adapt when things change, because the market changes all the time. And this is where Go-to-Market Maven, I think, they're smart. They're saying, okay, our AI can generate the strategies, but then real, live human marketers, they review them, they refine them, they give that final stamp of approval.
So it's more like a partnership, a collaboration.
Exactly. And that, I think, is where the real magic happens.
Yes.
Finding that sweet spot where AI and human intelligence work together.
Yeah.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
It's like having a superpower sidekick to help you conquer the marketing universe.
I like that.
And speaking of superpowers, towards the end of this document, there's a whole section called Additional Insights and Recommendations. It's like they're brainstorming future directions.
It's like getting a sneak peek into their innovation lab.
Totally. And some of these ideas, let me tell you, they're out there.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one that caught my eye was this whole concept of vertical specialization.
What's that?
Okay, so basically, they're thinking about developing these super specific GTM playbooks for different industries. Think SaaS, e-commerce, even like fintech.
Okay, so they're saying we can create a GTM strategy for anyone, but we can also niche down and really become the go-to experts in your specific field. Makes sense.
Exactly. It's like the more specialized your knowledge, the more valuable you become.
Right. You're not just a jack of all trades. You're the master of one.
And that's not all. They also brainstormed these alternative creative themes and taglines, and some of them bold, to say the least. Okay, you can't just leave me hanging like that. What kind of taglines are we talking about here?
Oh, man. Get ready for it. Quantum leap marketing.
Yeah.
The strategy superconductor. They even had escape velocity branding. It's like they were channeling their inner science fiction writer or something.
Quantum leap marketing. Wow. That's, I mean, it definitely makes you think of big change, like a huge leap forward, but I'm not sure everyone would get it, you know?
That's true. That's a good point. And they actually talk about that in this section, like this balance between wanting to sound super high tech,
Mhm.
because of the whole AI thing,
Right.
right? But also making sure that it makes sense to people who aren't, like total tech whizzes. Like a tagline like that might go over well in Silicon Valley, but for a bakery owner who just wants more people to buy their cupcakes, it might not land.
Totally. Because not everyone speaks fluent tech. It's easy to forget that sometimes.
It is.
But, I mean, even if some of those tech lines are a little out there, it shows they're thinking differently, right? They're not afraid to try something new, to stand out. And who knows, maybe the strategy superconductor is exactly what speaks to someone looking for that cutting edge approach.
Exactly. What one person thinks is crazy, another person might think is genius, right? And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about, like, summarizing a document. It's about making those connections, finding new ways to think about these challenges we all face in business.
It's like we're planting these seeds of strategic inspiration.
I like that. So as we wrap up our Go-to-Market Maven deep dive here, that big question keeps coming back to me. How much AI is too much AI when it comes to business strategy? Is this the future?
It's the million-dollar question, right?
It really is.
I mean, on the one hand, the speed, the affordability, being able to process tons of data, it's powerful stuff.
No doubt.
But there's still something to be said for that human touch, you know?
Yeah.
Intuition, creativity, being able to connect with people on an emotional level. Can an algorithm ever really do that?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's something I want all of you listening to think about, too, in your own ventures, your own goals. Could you benefit from a more strategic approach? And could AI play a role in that? Maybe it's time to stop thinking of AI as this thing that's going to replace us and start thinking of it as a tool, a powerful ally in helping us achieve success.
I like that. Food for thought. Well, on that note, this has been another fascinating deep dive. Until next time.